Thank you. I will call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Sydney, I will turn to you to read the land acknowledgement.
The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Darrong and the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship on the lands in which we live.
Thank you. So we'll move on to number 3, declaration of interest. Are there any declaration of interest today? Oh. I called the question. All those in favor? Oh, I apologize. I didn't see it. Can I get, oh, there, sorry. Can I get a mover? Carol, seconder? Thank you. My apologies. Can I call a question? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. That is passed. We're going to move on to, I apologize. I moved ahead of myself. Yeah, we're in the minutes. Adoption of the minutes. I apologize. Can I get a mover and seconder to adopt the minutes from April 4th and April 25th? Tony? Can I get a seconder? Carol again, thank you very much. I call the question. All those in favor? All opposed? That passes. Correspondence, number 6. Sydney or Steph, anything? Nothing? Okay. We're going to move on to number 7, community business. We have 7.1, the candidate update. I will turn to Stephanie Jarvis to speak on this matter.
Through you, Madam Chair. So at our last meeting, we had called an additional meeting to discuss recruiting Bob Lidicote to help us with our bands and our sound production for the day. So he's been working very diligently, and I believe he's at 5 bands now and just finalizing 1 or 2 more for the second day. We've also been networking with a few other local organizations to support the day and some committees. So the Heritage Committee would like to do a designation of Block 25. Block 25? Yes. Yes, Tony, 25? Is it Lock 25? Okay, just making sure I don't want to mess that up. I will not hear the end of it. Lock 25 on the day. We're also looking at a performance from Art as well as Thorold Theatre in the early afternoon, and then it'll be followed by bands and a children's performance. We do have face painters, balloon twisters, and a bouncy castle secured as well. And we currently have 4 food trucks which have been secured, and we're just waiting to hear back from a couple of others. So that's pretty much the status right now, and if anybody has any general questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. Stephanie, where do we stand on who's doing the bar service?
That's a good question. Through you, Madam Chair. We're looking at a couple of different options. Currently, we're just waiting here to hear back from one contact that we were given. And then if not, we have a couple other, I don't know if I can discuss this on camera, but we do have a couple of other options that we're seeking as well. So I can probably provide an update at the next meeting, but we do have a couple of options. We had reached out to the Legion, but they declined for this year just because of resources, but they said they would consider for next year. But we have a couple other options on the list.
Well, without mentioning any names of these volunteer organizations, or are you going to go professional?
One is a local business and one is a volunteer organization.
Thank you.
Nella?
Hi, Stephanie. I just wanted to ask about the Patriotic City flag that was brought up a few meetings ago. I've just had James Simons reach out again. Are we going to go with the asking people to register through online and tell us how many flags they have on their property. Is that sort of what we've decided to do this year?
Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, we're going to go with a simplified approach for this year. It's going to be on the website for people to register their own information. We're going to start the marketing piece in the next few weeks. So we're going to meet with our community relations specialist, Megan McRae, to discuss those initiatives. Since we're just finalizing the details of planning for Canada Day, we want to have it all launched at the same time. It is on the website to record your flags, like it is already up there, but we just haven't launched any social media campaigns for it. But that will follow probably, we're looking at the end of May to start that, and then just really pushing it through for the beginning in mid-June.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Any other discussion on Canada Day or any other questions of Stephanie? Okay, seeing that, we'll move on to section 7.2, the farmers market update. I will also turn to Stephanie Jarvis again.
Through you, Madam Chair. So we did bring a report to Council on May 30th to finalize the dates and times for the farmers markets. So Council did approve our approach to have it hosted on the Wednesday nights. So we are going to have a farmers market grand opening on June 7th, which is the first Wednesday. We're going to have a few extra amenities and activities that night. It'll be a little bit more robust than the standard nights, but it'll run from June. Right now it's scheduled to end on Labor Day weekend, just depending on the success. We could keep it running for a couple of weeks. It'll begin at 5 p.m. each Wednesday and end around 9 p.m. or throughout later in the summer it might end early at dusk. The approach that we've taken for this year, since it is our first year, is we really want it to be a community engaged event. So we're going to be having not just markets and local business and farmers come and have stands, but we're also going to showcase different and engage them in providing activations and activities each week as well. So each week there will be a different organization that will be our highlighted group. That way they can advertise, whether it's a sports club, or the library or the TCAG, they can highlight all of their endeavors and participate in the community and try and get maybe more interest or new members, or just showcase what they're doing already. We also have the Thorold Reed Band, who performs regularly on Wednesday nights. I think their exact dates are June. It's either I think it's June 27th or the last week of June to August 17th, but they'll be there most nights, and then other nights that they're not there, we're gonna try and find other bands and other performers. Thorold Theatre said that they would also be engaged and try and have a couple of performances too during the market. So really we need to get the communications out this week, and that's what I'm currently working on, and then next week we'll be focused again, Megan, to discuss marketing for the general public.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Stephanie on this matter? Thank you very much, Stephanie, for all you're doing. I truly appreciate it, and I know there's a lot of work that goes into planning 2 huge events like this, and I thank you. And please let us know if you need help and volunteers. I'm sure many of us would be happy to help you. So we're going to move on to 7.3, Experience Ontario Grant information. Again, I will turn to Stephanie Jarvis to speak on this matter.
Through you, Madam Chair. So we did a number of people notified us of the Experience Ontario grant, and it was on our radar. So just to give some background on the Experience Ontario grant, if anybody's familiar with the Reconnect grant that came out for the last couple of years, which was launched by the provincial government to support in-person community programs coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's now evolved into the Experience Ontario grant, and so municipalities and organizations can apply for this grant to provide funding for their events. We did an assessment of all of our events through the City of Thorold, which is Canada Day, the Farmers Market, and the Santa Claus Parade, and felt that Santa Claus Parade was probably the best choice for this grant, just because we had our previous performance indicators from last year. We had a really successful event that we could leverage in the application. So I think in total it was about $22,500 that we asked for through the grant to support the actual Santa Claus parade, but also if we were to get the grant, we would also include a tree lighting and a winter market. So that would be kind of the additional enhancements that we would make to the event if we did get the sponsorship. That's pretty much it. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any discussion? Any questions for Stephanie? Nella?
I just want to say, Stephanie, you and your team are doing an excellent job, and I know that you have your hands full. So I just want to say, a way to go. And we have a lot of stuff on the go. And awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions for Stephanie? I just have one. When will you find out about that grant?
Through you, Madam Chair. It's difficult to know for sure. Last year, the application closed at a similar time for the Reconnect grant, and I think we found out mid-August. But they were really backlogged last year as well, especially with the Canada Summer Games. So it's hard to know. They didn't give us a definitive date, but just for reference, it was, I guess, about 5 months last year.
Thank you. Any other questions? Perfect. Okay, so we're going to move on to number 8, roundtable discussion. Does anybody have anything they'd like to speak about today? I'm looking at you. Wow, I love this today. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to number 9. If we have nothing else, the next meeting I have is going to be June 6th at 6:30. Is that still good for everyone? Wow, okay, so that being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Wow, that was awesome. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank